All right, one of our favorite agents, Ryan Reed, who
Again,
is
my fault, right, Mike?
one of our top producing agents and leads him and his partner, Kevin, run a very prolific team here called the Valley Team. Is it the Valley Team? Valley Home Team?
So far off. Valley Home Group.
Valley Home Group.
It's okay.
I got Valley, right?
He did.
You did.
You gave
But
him a point.
it's not even Valley with a Y,
Yeah.
which is probably what you were thinking.
No,
so.
I know that. It's
Okay,
no Y,
that's good.
V-A-L-L-E.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
As in Luna.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're on the same page then, Mike.
That's perfect for me because I
I
can't
mean, you guys
spell
didn't get my
anyway.
phone number or my email right, but that's okay too, you know.
Well,
so.
no, we okay, listen.
This is amazing.
Oh,
this is
Mike,
awesome.
you're doing such a great
First
job.
of all,
I'm so
the
grateful.
phone
Tough to
number.
look in the mirror, huh, Mike?
Okay, so the phone number, in case you've ever attended a real estate new agent orientation, that's the corporate number.
Oh, I know.
Oh, so they're going to call and say, "Hey, I need to talk to Ryan Reed," because apparently that email doesn't work anymore.
It works, yeah. No, I'm just giving you a hard time.
Okay. All right, so we are done for the day. Let's get to the quote of the day because we're done talking to Ryan.
This was great. See me after tomorrow's Zoom for the top 3
This
strategies.
is why we need vacations.
All righty. Well, anyways, so Ryan, thank you for being here today. So I wanted to kind of jump into your top 3 strategies for 2025. You guys run an incredible team, and probably my favorite part about what you guys do, and when I sit down with you guys, because we focus on systems a lot, but you guys have got systems really dialed in, and it's just I can just take a look at you guys and go, part of your success is because everything's systemized, everything's got a system, and for many of us as agents, going back to being transactional, we just don't have a lot of systems, so we just kind of just do what we've been told.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Number 2, we'll actually be talking about that. So,
all right, well, let's get into number 1. I love this because from the get-go, you're like, oh, this is boring. But we do not work 40-hour-a-week W-2 jobs where we have an employer that says you are now going to New Orleans for 3 days to get educated, or you're required to come here. And then we kind of pick and choose. And for me, educating myself is just not picking and choosing from the calendar, right?
Right.
It's really sitting down and going, what do I got to work on?
yeah, absolutely. So for me, I'm on book number 25 for the year. And people go, oh, okay, yeah, you sat and read a physical book.
The
And
Calvin and Hobbes new book, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. But bottom line for me is that I don't have a physical book. I don't buy the physical book. I actually listen to books, and because we are in vehicles, showing homes out, I try to utilize all of that time. Sure, you could listen to music, but I would rather take that time to actually educate myself, and that has allowed me to read quite a few books this year, and they help me tremendously. And it's not just real estate books. It's marketing, it's systems, emotional intelligence is huge in what we do, and so that has been one of the, even since I've been in real estate since 2020, that is something I worked really hard at doing, was constantly educating myself, understanding aspects of sales, marketing, strategy, negotiation, especially, and I believe it's helped my business tremendously and has allowed me to be successful very quickly in the real estate business.
A lot of people might look at books and they say, I don't have time to write books. I read books. I have, all this, and one of the things that Nick and I and Clint have always challenged ourselves on is signing up with a company like summaries.com, which provides you with leading cliff notes on the top books that are out there. And if you, after reading 8 pages of these cliff notes, you're not encapsulated by what that conversation is or about, or there's something there, you can, you go to the next book or dig deeper, buy the book or listen to it online.
I don't mind. I would much rather somebody just tell me I don't like to read books or I don't want to read books, rather than just say I don't have time.
Yeah,
I don't have time is just an excuse, because I can guarantee you, if you sat down for the next 2 weeks and you journaled every minute of your day of what you're doing, I can find time for you to read.
100%.
So just be intellectually honest. Just say, hey, listen, I don't want to read books. Just the excuse I don't have time is simply an excuse.
Yep, absolutely. One of the things that we sit down with agents that want to join our team is I ask them, hey, so Monday morning, what are you going to be doing for your real estate business? And they usually flounder in telling you what they're going to be doing with their real estate business because they don't have a schedule and they don't have intentional time. We call it schedule blocking. And so I pull out a piece of paper that we have that has their Monday through Friday, and we talk about schedule blocking. And one of those for me is education, and it's daily that I'm actually educating myself, which allows, and why that's so important is if you're struggling to handle objections, it's because you're not educated on the market. You're not educated on different things, different aspects of real estate for you to be able to actually have a response for your client or a person you're trying to win as a client. I've gained so many clients from being able to talk about something having to do with real estate, and they went, wow, how did you know that, right? It's because I'm educating myself. I'm trying to grow so that I can better serve my clients and truly be their advisor.
I think also, I think the value of books, and I love your, and we do need to clarify, when we say books, to your point, Ryan, you don't have to go to Barnes and Noble and actually get the physical book. You got things like Audible, and you can spend that time in your car listening, to books. I'm for me personally, I'd rather read because I absorb it better actually physically reading a book, but that's not everybody. As long as you're intaking something. But I think where we have to be careful is, and why books are such a great source for us, is when you take a look at, and I got to be careful how I phrase this, but if you took a look at over the last month all of the classes and the workshops that have been offered in the Phoenix real estate market, just a myriad of them. How many times do we take a look and say and go, okay, I'm going to consider the instructor? Just because somebody puts on a class doesn't necessarily mean that they're an authority on the subject.
No validation.
And so going outside of that, and there's nothing wrong with classes, but going outside of that, and really, if I'm going to read a business book, I'm always looking at the author, and I'm always looking at like, who is this author? What has he accomplished? And we've got this young lady in our life. She's 22 years old, fresh out of college, and she wants to be a life coach. And I'm like, what's your platform? You're 22 years old. You just got out of college. You got to consider the source.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think it's important. And I'm not only saying books. I listen to podcasts,
TED Talks.
Anywhere where you can consume information, knowledge from credible sources, like you're saying, for sure. And there's some people that I'm like, I'll listen to and I'll go, yeah, but it doesn't apply to me. But the advice qualified itself. It was good advice. That person may not have done, let's say in real estate, as many transactions or the same volume, but it was good advice from something maybe they heard or learned and brought it all together.
I want to just jump in for a second on that and ask all of our listeners today, when you heard Nick say, there's a great book out there. It was written by Simon Sinek. Did that have any effect on you whatsoever? In other words, in most instances, when we speak of someone who is as successful in writing as Simon Sinek is, usually it's like when E.F. Hutton talks, people listen. It kind of, wait a minute, I don't want to miss this. What did he say? And so sometimes, and I'm not saying just be a repeater of everything you've read per se, to Ryan's point, you have to internalize it and adopt some of it in your life. But when you can make a point and you can address it to that issue, you could change someone's life as well. And they look at you with a higher grade of respect.
All right, Ryan, real quick on this before we move on. So you said you're on your 25th book of the year. For those of us listening who aren't really reading, that's very intimidating. Like I would tell someone, if you don't read books, do not make 2025 your goal to read 25 books.
Yeah.
But how would you tell someone to start the process and kind of making those goals a little bit smaller?
2021, I planned on reading 3 books. So that, just to give you perspective, 2021, that was what that started. And it was when I stopped the mindset of that I had to physically read it. I had to physically buy it and read it instead of listening to it. And when I really love a book, I actually buy the physical copy. Then I go back through and physically read it and underline and take things out of it that I really want to apply. So what I would say is make your goals something small and achievable on a platform you could do. There's YouTube videos that you can go listen to people reading synopsises of the book even, And so I would say pick some books. If I had to say if there was one book you were going to read and own this year, it would be Sales EQ. That one is one of I'm on my third time listening to it. So my 25 is not counting that 3 times. I've listened to that book 3 times. Phenomenal for real estate and how all aspects of entrepreneurship in real estate is. And it's not even a real estate book, and that's what I love. But I would just say, pick one or 2 books that you're going
That's
to
good.
commit to this year, and then tell somebody.
Be accountable.
Yeah.
All right, well, leading into goals and accountability.
Hey, look at that.
It's almost like you got my notes from this morning beforehand.
Oh, your notes. That's what I was kind of laughing about. I was like, when I saw year 3, I was like, did you take year 3 off of what I sent you yesterday?
I did not. Because everybody in this room can attest that they can guarantee I did not look at your material
That's what I was
beforehand.
going to say. He doesn't proof anything before
That
we
he
do.
put it up this morning as well, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So, so for me, goals and accountability, I think is huge. I mean, that has to be a strategy in real estate because as soon as you got your license and the next day you woke up, you didn't have a boss telling you what to do. And so I think that you have to have goals. You have to have something that you're focused on achieving. And then you have to have accountability. And that's the thing for me why I went from team to solo to team was because I needed somebody else there that's also looking at what I'm doing. There has to be something that you're like, hey, we're going to be doing these things that are going to build our business. And pipeline management, the roller coaster of real estate, knowing that the conversations you're having now are seeds you are planting for the future. And if you're not having daily real estate conversations, which I know, Mike, you hit this really hard with your team, is if you're not having daily, real estate conversations, you are not going to have a real estate business, first off, let alone one that you can provide for your family or even thrive on. And so I think that's just really important that you're having those and you're managing your pipeline, knowing where people are at and having those tough conversations. Which what I mean by that is I tell my agents all the time, where are they at? When are they thinking about buying or selling? And you need to know where they fall in that pipeline. You need to be asking that question like, hey, if you get pre-qualified this next week, when are you thinking you want to move? Oh, well, my lease is up in March. Okay, well, now I know there's a timeline. But if we never ask those questions, we can't properly manage that pipeline to know where transactions are going to be falling, and then let alone knowing when you should be following up with them. And so that's an important aspect of real estate and being able to manage this business. And then I talk about in your business versus on your business activities. That conversations you're having, the lead gen you're doing, the continually filling your pipeline is in your business, right? On your business is something I'm going to be talking about on our number 3, but that's going to be different things that you do to, let's say, your systems, your follow up, like you guys were discussing. We don't have past clients; these are my clients. I am their advisor. You don't have a past financial advisor after you spent money with them, and now they're helping you make money off of that money. They're not a past advisor. I want to be your real estate agent for life. That's what I say to my clients. And I want to be your family's real estate agent for life. And that is becoming that advisor, being that source where they come to for real estate information. And it's awesome. I love those conversations. Like, hey, we were thinking about this or we heard this. I love when my clients are asking me that because it makes me go, yeah, that's actually this. Or, oh, yeah, you don't want to do that. Or, hey, don't listen to that TikTok. They're wrong. That doesn't apply here in Arizona.
Well, let's talk about it. You got a lot of great stuff up here, but we haven't really broken it down to being practical. I mean, tell somebody, how go out and have real estate conversations. Okay, what does that mean? Manage your pipelines. What does that mean? Like, how do I begin to manage my pipeline in your world?
Yeah, so in our world, it's that conversation of like, when are they actually buying or selling? Asking them the questions of, here's one: if you found the right property, right? Because people don't think they can afford something. And if you found that 3-bedroom, 2-bath in the neighborhood you wanted with the amenities you wanted, when would you consider purchasing that home? Right. That's one aspect, is asking good questions will allow you to know. And then being honest if they're not making steps forward, like connecting when you've connected them with the lender, and them not actually going to the meeting or getting on the phone call, right? Being honest with yourself and where they're at is going to help you manage that pipeline. For us, we have, are they, active? That means I'm out actually they're actually looking at properties. Are they, in the pre-sign part where they maybe are getting ready to list, but they really haven't decided that yes, we're going to list it and we're going to go. They haven't signed in your paperwork, and so we have a system that we use that has different headings for different people, but also just putting them into a CRM and knowing where they're at in their thoughts. One of the things that we do is we still will constantly give them market updates based on where they want to live in the valley. So in Phoenix, Mesa, Glendale, Peoria, they're going to get specific market updates with saying, yeah, listings are up in that area or listings are down in that area. Like Todd is talking, they're going to know the median price went up in this area. Oh, no, wait, look at the median price went down in that area. And so they're going to still get that drip from us, giving them those market stats. So they know for the area they want to live and what's going on with it.
People aren't going to like this, but I don't know. I honestly, I'm not trying to be facetious here. I don't know how you do this without leveraging your CRM.
Absolutely.
I can't fathom. Okay, if I'm talking with 2 or 3 people, I can manage that in my head. Okay, that's not a problem. But when you're getting 5, 6, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 people, I don't know how you can physically and intellectually manage your pipeline without leveraging your CRM. I just don't know.
I'm just not that sharp or that smart or have that large of a brain or a memory to be able to keep all of the conversations I've had and where people are at with that. And so 100%, 85% of our business this year came from Sphere, word of mouth, referral. Yeah. Only 15% came from marketing advertising that we did. And so we couldn't do that if we didn't manage those relationships well. And we leverage a CRM. And even the most basic CRMs, cheap CRMs, will still help you manage and leverage that. You don't have to have the most expensive ones out there. I know that, what is it?
Wise Agent.
Wise Agent. Like it's perfect. If you don't have one, that should be your number one goal for 2025. That should be your only strategy for 2025 is getting that and leveraging it, especially if you're a solo agent and you are tired of seeing your people that you've done business with and sold a house or helped them buy a house, use somebody else.
Mike, you said it too earlier, which was that your CRM does a lot of that heavy lifting, but you have to pick up the phone. You have to have a conversation with those people.
No, yeah,
directly.
sure.
Yeah.
And
So
the
don't
last one,
overlook
real
that,
estate conversations.
That's what I was gonna
and
get to.
tracking. We look at how many conversations does it take for us to turn a person that we're talking to actually into somebody who is actively buying or selling, right? And so, for me, I know how many conversations I have to have with new people that don't know me at all to convert into one actual transactions, right? And we go as far as it's conversations to actual, listing appointments or buyer consultation appointments to actually close.
It's a numbers game. It's a
totally
numbers game.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, just on that, I think it's almost impossible to avoid, like when we get our real estate licenses. We've talked a lot this morning about being a transactional agent. It's what's ingrained in us. It's how we're trained.
It's what's easy.
It's what's easy. It's what we know. And unfortunately, many of us just stay in that world, forever. And so I'm assuming when you started, you just had that normal transactional agent mindset. At what point did it transform? Because I know it transforms, not only when you're getting in the built-in referrals and so forth, but like you and I both shared this morning about experiences. When your clients call you before they ever consider doing anything, like you have transformed into like that pipeline mentality because they trust you so much. At what point did that happen for you? And what was the change in how you approached it?
Yeah, I think in the first year of being in real estate, so first full year was 2021. And what I realized is if I treated these transactions as just that and not as people on the other side of it, that I would always be chasing, trying to get new people and new business, and going, I want to care about this person, not the transaction, right? What is best from this buyer? What is best for this seller? And when you do that, when you actually put that client's needs first, and I know that's something everybody says, but like actually doing it, and like what does that actually mean? And for us, it means with a buyer, I will pay for a home warranty, right, for the first year, right, and that's something that we do as a standard. And I've had agents are like, you pay for that, like you
I
credit
know
out
a
of your
lot of
commission,
agents
and
that do
so
that.
and I have some that question, they're like, oh, I don't do that, and I'm like, I know it's because you care about the transaction and the money that's coming from it, not actually about the client, giving them some of that peace of mind. And so I think it's just a client first mentality. How do you take care of the client best?
And I think also it goes back to your tracking. If you start in the business, let's say your first 3 years, and you're doing 25 deals a year, and they're pretty much all coming from open houses, internet leads, and so forth. If if on year 4 all your deals are still coming from those same lead sources,
Yes.
that's a problem.
Yep.
Because you're
Look in the mirror. You need to take a look in the mirror, 100%. And I think that goes into what we're talking about is what is your client experiencing, right? Like, and I think it's really easy in the first couple sales that you do in real estate to go, oh yeah, I know what they're experiencing, and you want to tell them every step, and you want to talk about it, and you want to share it. But when you get to 20 plus a year, you're starting to get, I don't want to call it jaded, but you kind of got those blinders on, what to expect. And so I always say, I'm going to treat this like it's my first transaction because it is with that most of the time with that client, right? Unless it's repeat, which is awesome, but like this is their first experience, and my job is to educate them so they feel confident every step of the way. And so one of the things we say is, how do you manage expectations? So I first set expectations with my clients so they know what to expect from me, and then managing them throughout the whole entire transaction so that they feel confident and comfortable about the biggest investment most people make in their life. And so I challenge agents to go, what is your client going to experience start from finish? From that first phone call that they get with you, to your buyer or seller consultation, to the after the close. And then the next step is, now how do you maintain a relationship with them through the rest of their life of owning that home, right? And so we talk about that and challenge the thought process behind the whole entire experience, let alone if you don't follow up in the first 3 months, I guarantee you won't follow up in the first year with your client. And that's a phone call. Those are regular text messages. You build a relationship with this person in a 30 to 45 day buyer, like cycle. And then all of a sudden you're not talking to them at all. And then when you go to call them a year later, it is awkward. And so challenging agents to think about how and have a plan. And that's what I love about CRMs. There's a reminder, and then another reminder, another. It's not like you have to remember, oh yeah, it's 3 months, it's 6 months, it's a year to follow up with them. You can actually set a reminder, send you a notification, and then you're able to go, yep, today I get to call these 3 people because it's that day for me. It's this scheduled time I have in my schedule blocking to follow up with my clients.
What do you do? What do you guys do when things don't go right? I'm a blame myself type person. If I call a client and they went and bought another property with another agent, I'm not going on Facebook and going, oh, woe was
Yeah.
me, and that. I mean, it's a me issue. I mean, not all the time, but most of the time it's a me issue. Somewhere in my system something broke down.
Yeah.
Or something in my presentation, or something in my style didn't work, and so I do. I don't like it. No one likes to lose business, but I will spend time trying to like replay the conversations or take a look at the follow up and the breakdown, and then where I was into. And sometimes I'll just call them and just say, hey, just lay it on me. I want to know. I want to get better.
Yeah.
Just lay it on me.
Yeah, I think feedback's huge. I think last time I was on here, I said feedback's the breakfast of champions. If you're not getting feedback and you don't know how what you may have said had landed on somebody, then absolutely. Like in my buyer consultations and my listing consultations, I literally say, hey, listen, this is an interview. Just because this person referred me to you, it doesn't mean that I expect that you're using me. I want you to choose me because I am the best agent for you. And that may mean I show up and you just can't stand my face and it's just hideous and it bothers you. And great, let me find you another agent that's got a much prettier face than mine. And so I always make that joke, but I say that in all seriousness though, like, hey, if we don't jive, if I don't if you don't connect with the way I do real estate and the way I run my business, then, truly I want to find it. So on the front end, I'm trying to address that. And I agree with you 100%. If they go do business with somebody else, it's because I dropped the ball 100% of the time, because I didn't ask those tough questions. Like, hey, in this transaction with me, was there anything that I could have done better? That's one of the questions I ask at the end of it. They've got their keys, they got their house. I ask them, hey, I know you're really excited about this, but I would love feedback. Was there anything at any point that you felt that I didn't communicate well with you, or I could have done something better? And throughout that, and if they're like, no, it was great, it was awesome, every step of the way, that's awesome. Hey, and that's where, here's my segue. Hey, I'm going to send you an email with a couple links to areas where you could give reviews and recommendations, because people that haven't worked with me yet need to hear what you just said, because that's what I strive to do well.
And sometimes the other agent was just better, right?
Yeah.
Or out hustled me. And I'll ask, like, what did that agent do? Like, what because I want to know.
Yeah, absolutely. There's nothing new under the sun. I say everything you see agents doing, you can use and recycle and make your own. There's no new thing that real estate agents are doing that is the silver bullet to being successful.
All right, 2025 obviously is coming up. So what are your plans for your team, and I didn't ask you ahead of time, is there room on your team, and what's 2025 looking like as far as growth for your team, and what can agents expect if they have a conversation with you?
Yeah, it's a great question. So yes, we are.
What would they experience?
Yeah, so we are interviewing agents, and I say that interviewing because we had to make sure it's a good fit. And I would say for our team, if I had to use two words, I want to say small and mighty, meaning I'm not trying to have a huge team. I produce, meaning I go out and I'm showing houses, I'm listing houses, I'm working with clients. I'm an active agent, and I want to see other agents succeed as well. And so I would say for us, this year, between Kevin and I and 3 active agents, we did 58. We're possibly going to hit 60 by the end of the year if these other couple close, and we're excited about that. We want to grow that just a little bit, but we want to make sure that our clients have the highest level experiences they can, and we want to get better at our events that we did this year, and those were big client magnet events, and they were super successful, and I want to help agents strategize how that is part of their business. That's my goal this year, is to maybe a few more transactions, but ultimately to see the agents on my team have healthy, producing books of business.
Well, I always tell agents when they ask me about your team and about you and Kevin, I'm like, well, fantastic team, and probably one of the top teams in West USA that I would recommend. But you better like accountability, because if you don't like to be, I'm just telling you, if you don't like to be held accountable, I'm just going to tell you, that team is not for you,
nope.
right?
Nope, it's not. It is not. No, hey, we track everything. It's important.
All right, Ryan, appreciate it. Merry Christmas, and
Merry Christmas.
Always great to have you. Leave you the quote of the day. Oh, yes, we need to start to play music for this. Challenges are just opportunities in disguise. Nick, adapt, pivot, and thrive. And go out and sell a home.